doubled. Unfortunately, the model is not replicable because the soil conditions and the atmospheric conditions which promote this particular product is, for some reason or the other, highly limited to a particular geographical area. So yes, those farmers have definitely benefited, and now actually I don't know, we don't have time, otherwise we would have loved to take you there and interact with them. Now that they speak in a very different tone, they've completely changed. Same is the case with the Jaggery cluster I spoke about. That is in absolute hinterland. To reach that cluster it takes 4 hours drive from Nagpur. Branching roads here and there and every often. Now over there, their Jaggery price realization has also multiplied. Not just that, the pain of production, the physical pain, the physical labor of production has actually come down with use of very minimalistic technologies. Nothing big, because they are not able to absorb high-end technologies. There is no point in, force feeding them. So we have just used appropriate technologies to kind of help them realize. And the whole point is we try to make these farmers members of the special purpose vehicle that runs the common facility center. The intercaste dynamics, the economic disparity dynamics will continue to play their role and affect the working of SPV. There is no perfection possible so far. Having said that, if we are able to increase the profit margin of the farmers produce, as you're right, that was a question asked to me by Secretary to Government of India. Before sanctioning a particular cluster, he asked me the same question. How does it not get hijacked by the industry and leaves the farmer high and dry? So I said they will be shareholders in that particular company. And it's not a cooperative which can be manipulated. It's a private limited company with a limitation to the percentage of shareholding a person or a family can have. So we've got SPVs with 100 members, 200 members. These are not cooperatives. These are absolutely profit-making private limited companies. So that's the model that we have tried to follow. We are still in the nascent stage, meaning it's just been 4 or 5 years. But so far, except one, we have succeeded. And with everybody's blessings, we hope to succeed henceforth as well. Thank you.
Yeah, may I request Mr. Khobragade, who is also consuming a lot of farm produce in bulk mass quantities, as to what does he feel is the kind of share that the farmers have?
It's not related to India, this problem, right? It's related to, it's a global problem. So if you look at what strategy is being done on the government level, is one, to increase demand for the farm products. So what has happened is, in terms of sustenance pricing, there is a minimum support price to food grains. So whatever food grains is grown by a farmer, each government, the central government declares a minimum support price, the price at which it will be procured from the farmer. The government, while calculating, there is a difference between what the farmer wants, the calculation part, and what the government thinks is the calculated part. There is a huge difference. But that's one step that has been taken. Since India has moved from the famine kind of situation over the years, they are now trying to wean away the farmers from growing food grains, so that the minimum support price to the food grains goes down, and they are supporting cash crops for that. Now, in order to consume the cash crops, the processing industry has to increase. And the government now is trying to subsidize or provide funds. They have created a separate ministry now, Ministry of Food Processing, which is targeting increase in the amount of food processing that goes on in India. Clustering. So whenever the food processing industry starts, as you adopt technology, right, the cost of investment goes up. So for an individual industry, company, it becomes very difficult to invest that kind of amount. For example, in the packaging side, if you try to utilize, say, aseptic packaging or Tetra Pak packaging, for an individual company, it becomes very difficult. So what the clustering does is it brings 10 or 15 similar industries on the same platform. Government gives the incentive to set up that infrastructure, And these 10 or 15 industries, they form the SPV, the special purpose vehicle. They invest little bit of money and they own that infrastructure. Okay, and since the infrastructure is created, demand for the cash crop is increased. As the demand grows up, the return to the farmer goes up. So this is the process that has been adopted. It will take some time, but this will become the successful. That's what we think.
Yeah. Oh, they sold huge quantities. They sold huge.
Hello. Actually, some of the basic or some of the known figures regarding some crops, vegetable crops, particularly. I have to introduce myself. I am Damodar Tiwade, running my own industries as a Vidarbha Spices Industry Limited and Joint Secretary, ex-Joint Secretary, Vidarbha Industries Association. Some points Mr. Jain has told you regarding this turmeric. I am exporting, cultivating this turmeric, but very sadly to say, it has not properly been branded yet. Though we are giving to the exporters in the form of raw materials, they are extracting. This particular turmeric, what I have seen, I have studied throughout the India, even in the global scenario also. This particular turmeric is grown in this soil. It has a 11% curcumin. What Mr. Jain has told is also right. But what we have analyzed, what we have studied, that comes to 11 point, sometimes 12% curcumin, which is by German method is extractable to 90%. By Indian method, it is not extractable, hardly it is 60%. And almost all material goes to our Kerala units, where they are extracting plants. This particular curcumin is meant only for breast cancer, your thoracic cancer. Extensively it is used and proved. But because of lacking properly branding to European countries, properly branding to American countries, we are lacking there. Yes, definitely. And this forum is very suitable. We are near about having around say about 5,000 acres of land under this turmeric cultivation. So you are welcome in the sense that for investment in the sense, oleoresin, we have another very good source of chilies, which is having a very high color value, which is having a very high pungency, and you can extract for oleoresin from chilies. These are the three main products. Vidarbha is having a very plenty, not only the plenty, organic values, medicinal values, yes. So medicinal values in the sense turmeric, chilies and coriander, which we called locally, you can say a ruler, or we call it a gramin, coriander. Not just like a green. Green has a different variety, green has a different properties. This particular brown coriander, which we are cultivated in this area, is having a different medicinal properties. So of course, anybody wish for turmeric and oleoresins for chilies, yes, well, we can interact with them.
Gaurav, I think since there will be more opportunity to informally interact during the lunch, we have some presentation, Gaurav.
Yeah.
Go ahead and then.
There's a short film from our Russian side, Mr. Natalia. Yes, okay.
We offer to your attention a short film about our Siberian region, Khanty-Mansiysk Autonomous Okrug Yugra.
compatibility. एक तो कनेक्ट यार आवाज नहीं आ रही है वॉइस की. Yeah, but we're checking the compatibility. Probably their file is not getting compatible with. Yeah, the video is playing. It's just the sound which is. Yeah. How to say? Yeah.
The total length is 4,750 kilometers. The total population of the region is 1.6 million people, representing 125 ethnic groups. Hanti, Mansi and Forest Nenes are the indigenous peoples of the north inhabiting Yggdrasil since ancient times. As of today, their total number is over 30,000 people, more than half of them still maintaining their traditional way of life. The preservation of indigenous peoples' traditional environment and the development of their unique spiritual and material culture are enshrined in law and constitute a component of Yggdrasil's strategy based on the interest of all peoples living in the region. The administrative center of the region, the city of Khanty-Mansiysk, is the center of arts and multinational culture, academic research and high technologies, sports, tourism, business and international activity. The Khanty-Mansiysk Autonomous Okrug Yggdra is a powerful industrial province. Yggdra is one of Russia's most dynamic regions. Yggdra's mineral resources are a guarantee of Russia's energy security. They form the necessary foundation for the dynamic growth of the national economy and the basis for its export potential. Oil and gas production is the dominant sector of the region's economy. Today, Yggdra accounts for about 50% of Russia's total oil production. Over 10 billion tons of the black gold have already been extracted from its oil fields. Every 16th ton of oil produced in the world comes from Yggdra. 81 Russian and foreign oil and gas companies explore and develop hydrocarbon deposits in Yggdra. While producing oil, the companies follow the principles of ecological safety, partnership and social responsibility, which allows the indigenous people to retain the right to use their land. Oil and gas companies and representatives of the northern indigenous peoples conclude contracts and agreements on the use of lands within traditional nature management areas, with the indigenous people's rights fully observed regarding their participation in the discussions on any issues affecting well-being of the indigenous population. 741 such agreements were signed in 2013 between oil companies and the heads of indigenous clans. The strategy of the region's economic development provides for a gradual departure from the absolute focus on the production of hydrocarbons. More than 30 deposits of solid minerals have been discovered in Yggdra. Their commercial development is one of the key vectors for the region's industrial growth. Yggdra is Russia's leading region in terms of electric power generation. A lot of efforts are being made to preserve and restore the environment of Yggdra. Specially protected natural areas account for about 6% of the region's total territory. Every year, supported by UNESCO and Northern Forum, Yggdra hosts the international ecological project Save and Preserve. The improvement of life quality in Yggdra based on sustainable economic growth and human capital development are the priorities of the Yggdra regional government's policy. Yggdra has an extensive research and technology infrastructure. 4 universities are directly involved in the activities related to indigenous issues. About 1,000 indigenous students get secondary and high vocational education every year. Yggdra's academic community includes 30 representatives of indigenous peoples with a candidate or a doctor degree. The healthcare system of Uruguay is capable of addressing the most complicated challenges in providing highly professional and efficient medical services and protecting public health. The high-tech cardio, neurosurgery and hemodialysis centers, numerous healthcare institutions with state-of-the-art telemedical capabilities, perinatal centers of Uruguay rank among Russia's best medical facilities. The creation of conditions for people to practice sports, the popularization of healthy lifestyles is our investment into the future of Uruguay. The sports facilities of the region's cities meet the highest standards and requirements. Every year they host a number of regional, national and international competitions in a variety of sports. That is where the future national sports elite is growing. The Winter Sports Center of Uruguay is one of the best of its kind in the world. Since the year 2000, its ski tracks have welcomed the major international biathlon competitions, bringing together the world's top biathletes. Uruguay has a highly developed state-of-the-art infrastructure. There is an active air traffic between Uruguay's airports and a number of Russian and foreign cities. The region enjoys a well-developed network of modern roads, railways and water routes. It'll take you just a couple of hours to get from the comfort of your hotel to a nomad camp where indigenous people will share with you their priceless knowledge of how to live in harmony with nature. The already powerful legal framework in place regulating indigenous issues is improved on an ongoing basis. 16 laws and 56 other legislative instruments give the indigenous people of Uruguay opportunities for the efficient development of their traditional livelihood activities, ethnographic tourism, and for the preservation of their cultural values. Uruguay is a spot on the map that attracts international experts who come to study the region's experience in the field of cooperation between the authorities and indigenous people. UN Special Rapporteur James Anaya highly praised Uruguay's achievements in the implementation of the most efficient laws and programs and in the establishment of close collaboration between authorities and indigenous peoples. In 2011, Khanty-Mansiysk hosted a meeting of the Coordinating Council of the Russian Association of the Indigenous Peoples of the North Siberia and the Far East. Uruguay is a territory of active international cooperation. The region hosts international festivals, academic symposiums, and conferences on a regular basis. In 2008, Khanty-Mansiysk welcomed the participants of the Russia-European Union Summit and the 5th World Congress of Finno-Ugric Peoples. In 2010, Uruguay brought together the participants of the World Chess Olympiad, and in 2011, the world's top biathletes. In 2012, Uruguay's major cities hosted the 7th International Festival of Indigenous Arts and Crafts of the World. In 2014, Khanty-Mansiysk hosted the 6th International IT Forum with BRICS countries' participation. In 2015, the 10th meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization's Forum and the 18th Winter Deaflympic Games. We are open to cooperation and intend to strengthen and expand our international partnerships. We'll be happy to welcome you in Uruguay.
Thank you, Mr. Nataria, for a short and wonderful video on the same. His High Commissioner, Mr. Ernest Romko, we just wanted to share that on the incentives you asked regarding the industries and the region, we can send you an email. As you know, industries vary from sector to sector, and there are some specific benefits by the government given for this region as well as for clusters. So we'll send you the details. Okay. Yeah, I would just like to invite Ms. Lewis from the World Farmers Organization. She wanted to just share in brief about the World Farmers Organization. Can you please? Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving me the floor. I will be very brief as it's already lunchtime. The World Farmers Organization is an NGO organization based on farmers, national farmers organizations. We include farmers of every scale, small, medium or large, from all the regions of the world, and practicing all kind of agriculture, meaning organic agriculture or standard agriculture. family farmers, individual farmers, but farmers, not NGOs or friends of farmers, other actors of the agro-industry section. But we partner with all the stakeholders of the sector because we believe in holistic approach and multi-sectorial practices. That's why we're very, very glad to be here today, and also for the next 2 days with the World Trade Center in Mumbai. We found the discussion very useful because there was a very active exchange among all the actors that are involved, and everybody was very keen to make the discussion towards the strengthening of the farmers' conditions and positions. What WFO does is to advocate on behalf of farmers in international arena. In fact, with the executive director of WTC Mumbai, we met last year by chance in Geneva at the WTO. We were sitting on the stage and we just met each other, and from there a strong cooperation just emerged. WTO is only one of the fora where WFO is engaged. In fact, just to reply also to our friend's colleague, what WFO does to support farmers. We represent farmers in international fora. Actually, we facilitate the presence and the participation of farmers in this fora so that they can speak for their own on their own behalf. They can express their own interest there, and also raise their capacity to negotiate with other actors to defend their own interests and opportunities. As I was saying, WTO is only one of the fora. The others are, of course, linked to the United Nations. So we work very closely with FAO, IFAD, WFP, especially with WFP. We are involved in the Purchase for Progress program, which is a program that supports farmers in having a more efficient access to the value chain, and also to have the opportunity to decide on the price of commodities and how they want to input on the market. Because if it's true that governments has the capacity to evaluate which a price can be, it's also true that farmers have challenges and conditions that they have to tackle in their own reality. So they also may need to have a voice, at least on that decision. The other fora are also with the World Bank. Through the International Financial Cooperation, we are very much involved in the policy framework in that sense. And for example, with the UNIDROIT, we have just published a guide on contract farming, which is a guide for farmers themselves on how to establish their contracts with retailers and other private sector actors of the value chain. We also advocate on farmers' behalf for issues linked to the climate change that farmers face every day. So we are now going to COP21, and we are bringing a delegation of 40 farmers there so that they can interact directly with governments and also have their views expressed in that arena. There are many other processes that we follow, but basically what we do is to bring farmers' voice at levels where policy is made. So it is true that policy decision makers are other actors rather than farmers, but it is also true that in a so complex society as the one that we are living today, all stakeholders should have their own interests recognized. We just saw this nice video from Siberia where our indigenous peoples are partnering very much with the local governments to strengthen their own position in the country. It is right all stakeholders need to be involved in the decision making. So we do this for the farmers. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I would like to invite Mr. Aditya Saraf for a vote of thanks. Conclude the session.
Good afternoon. It's been an interesting session, and I'm sure you all are going to have nice visits to the food processing industry in our region in the next today and tomorrow, I guess. Before we conclude and head out to a lunch, I would just, on behalf of VIA, thank all the honorary delegates over here, more specifically the High Commission, Mr. Yogesh and Mr. Ernest. Very briefly, sir, you've talked about Fiji and Rwanda. Fiji very, very well known in India for holiday destination and honeymooning couples, and Rwanda known very well for the wildlife. We got us, insight into more things that the countries offer. It's good to know about what Rwanda is doing in terms of the investments and the concessions that you briefly talked about. With that said, I would also like to sincerely thank the WTC, the team, Mr. Ghate and Mr. Kuruvilla. We've been associated with you for a year now. And we would also request on behalf of VIA to arrange similar delegations for us to visit these nations and, get learnings from there and maybe grow into long-term trade developments with them. So with that said, I'd like to thank the DIC, MAIDC for making this happen. It has been an immense pleasure for VIA to host you people, though a very short interaction, and we look forward to more coming in the future. So with that said, I thank you all, and please join us for lunch in the adjoining hall today. Thank you.
Delegates also? Or with the delegate? Let them take the time.
Thank you. Good.
Pleasure. Thank you. Pleasure. He will mail it to you because right now he will put it as for the lunch. So honest, go to the hall. No, what I'm saying is, I understand. Yeah. So if I can have your business, because right now he cannot connect here and transfer, so he will send us the mail and we will send you the mail.
Maybe have you now? Can you?
Like, do you have a business card? I don't know.
Business карточку просит. Yes, but my business card is finished.
Okay.
Total.
No. I just need your email so that we can send you the pictures via email.
I will have such opportunity during our event to
Yeah, we can probably try and give it back. No, I know. But
have a doctor.
but he is a separate photographer. I will try. अरे रोहित भैया, no problem. Oh, you can please take your pen drive for now. अरे इसको फोटोज चाहिए पूरे सेशन की. अभी कहाँ से दूँ इसको बोल रहा हूँ मेल कर दो, बोलते नहीं अभी चाहिए.
एग्रीकल्चर में प्रोग्राम ले रहे हैं. एग्रीकल्चर में जगह हुआ है उनका. हाँ? सर हो गया है ना, रशिया हो गया है ना.